Welcome everybody to today's webinar. If you don't know me, I'm Ellie Feldman, Managing Director of Wingman, and we're thrilled to have everybody on with us. Today we have a very special program. We're going to talk to Brad Ruben from Archway Computers. He is a specialist in IT solutions specifically designed for insurance agencies. So for all of you guys out there that have questions about yourselves or maybe others that you know, and what best practices are for an insurance agency to keep your clients' data secure, you have come to the right place. This is all information that is obviously applicable to many of your clients as well, but tailored specifically to you. So we're thrilled to have Brad here. If you have any questions during today's presentation, use the chat or the Q&A areas on your screen. I will be peppering Brad with questions throughout, but we'll have a Q&A section and we'll try to pepper yours in as well. If you have any questions for me or Wingman after this, just shoot me an email. I can get you the slides from today, the recording, if you want to pass it along to colleagues or anything like that. We're happy to do all of that. So without wasting any more of your very valuable time this week before Thanksgiving, I now hand it off to Brad Ruben of Archway Computers.
All right. Hey, thank you, Ellie, I'm sorry, for inviting me to do this webinar. You said to scare the crap out of your insurance agents.
I did.
So I'm going to try to do that. We're actually Archway Computer. It gets confusing. Our website's myarchway.com. I'm going to try not to make this much of an advertisement for us. I just want to go through a few things about security that I've seen pretty universal with independent agents. My favorite slide in the deck. Now you can't see me. I don't have as good a tan as this or white teeth like this, but I've been automating agencies for about 35 years. My company, Archway Computer, we only support independent agencies. I always joke we have no normal clients, only independent agents. We work with over 180 agencies. I write a lot of articles for various magazines. I show up at these conferences back when we had conferences, and I'm completely independent. And my company, we're 48 full-time people strong. So let's talk about cybercrime. That's why we're here. It's 6 times greater than all the drug cartels in the world. And they're targeting you. They're targeting independent agencies because they know that you have data that cannot be breached. And some of them know you have insurance. So they're targeting you in various different ways. So the first question that I normally get asked is, so how can I, as an independent agency owner, secure my agency and make it cyber secure? And if I were to give you the 3 words that are the most crucial, it's multi-factor authentication. If you could see me now, I'm holding up my iPhone. And what multi-factor authentication is it will either send a text message to your phone, or you'll have a little app on your phone that you'll have to enter in a code that app gives you. That's even better protection than being text messaged, because text messaging can be hacked. DNS protection, what's that? So that's web filtering. It means when not allowing your people to go to websites that you don't want them to go to, various categories like social media as an example. But it's also protecting them from going to infected or malware websites. So what's that? So you get a message from Bank of America that says, hey, your account's been compromised, click here. And what it does is it sends you to a Bank of America website, which isn't Bank of America. Well, DNS protection will protect your people from going to websites that hackers are using to get you to give up your credentials. patch
Question,
management.
Brad, quickly, because
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
these first two are really the big ones.
sure.
Who sets up multi-factor authentication and DNS protections at the agency level? Is it on a per app basis? Is it for the network as a whole? How I assume the DNS protections are on the network level. Anybody who's surfing the web while on the work network. But what about multi-factor authentication? What services use it? How do you set it up?
Right. So the most important service to set it up on, and I'll show you when I show how to hack you, is Office 365. There was a recent study that 29% of businesses in March alone were compromised on Office 365. And every version of Office 365 gives you the ability to set up multi-factor authentication.
At the user level or at the admin level?
Well, at the admin level for the user.
Got it.
So you set up various users and they set up their own multi-factor authentication. So here's the mobile number that I want this set up to. It can be done by an admin, but it's it's sort of a partnership with us. Like, as an example, it's a partnership where we're setting it up from the administrative level and walking our users through doing this.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And then on DNS protection is handled for you with the best products. It's handled for you at the internet level. So all your internet traffic gets routed through these servers that are in the cloud, whether you're using Cisco Umbrella as a product, OpenDNS is another product, their DNS filter is another product. But basically, it's kind of like the reverse of spam protection, where you've got this spam protection in the cloud that's filtering spammy and fishy emails that are coming in. It's filtering as you go up to the internet. So it's stopping you from going to those sites.
Fabulous. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
And then but you're absolutely correct, Ellie, that multi-factor and DNS protection are probably in the top two. I would say patch management, spam filtering, and phishing protection, when we're talking about a technology stack of products, are very important. And then let's talk a little bit about antivirus. So, because this might be surprising. So the antivirus product that we recommend, all of your agencies probably already own, and it's called Windows Defender. And it has ransomware protection in it, built into it. And if you updated to Windows 10 after September of 2018, you have the good version of Windows Defender. It doesn't need a major update. We update it for our clients. But this site, avtest.org, is an independent site. And you'll get all these antivirus providers, companies saying, we scored great on this test or that test, but they're really paying those people to do those tests. Yeah, so avtest.org is independent, and Windows Defender is outscoring them all. And it said,
how does somebody know if they have Windows Defender already on their system?
Well, if they've got Windows 10, they've already got it on their system. If they updated to Windows 10 after September of 2018, they've got the good version of it. But even if they updated before September of 2018, they can still get it for free by doing updates to their computers. I would have an IT professional do that for them and set it up properly for them. But the good news is, like everything that Microsoft does, if you probably don't remember when we used to have to buy fonts for our printers, we don't have to do that anymore because Microsoft builds it in. So Microsoft's Windows Defender, which was a terrible product 3 or 4 years ago, is now a great product.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right. So probably none of you know who Kevin Mitnick is, but he lived down the street from me out here in LA. He was in Van Nuys, and to be precise. And he was one of the original hackers. And it wasn't like he was a great technology hacker. What he was and is a great social engineer. So he would literally 35 years ago call up a receptionist, an accounting person at a bank and say, hey, this is Kevin from IT. I'd like to, we're doing an update this weekend and I need your username and password. And they give it to him. Or he would go into their trash. He did that, etc. But he got caught, and he was convinced, the prosecution convinced the judge that Kevin shouldn't have access to a payphone because he could start a nuclear war with it.
Oh, goodness.
Not true, but if you ever saw the movie War Games, part of the stuff going on in War Games was about Kevin. But Kevin started a company called KnowBe4, which does security awareness testing, and we'll get into that a little bit. But this comment from Kevin is great. Basically, you can spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on firewalls and software, etc., but it's all wasted if your people give up their credentials. Now, multi-factor authentication is a good preventative measure, but there are even ways around that. And that's not going to be, it's not 100% now, and it's going to become less and less later. Anyway, so that's how he started KnowBe4.
Fascinating.
So the point is, everything I just showed you, throw it out the window. Because if your people cooperate with the hackers and get their credentials, well, the multi-factor authentication will be helpful. The DNS protection, antivirus will be helpful. But your security really is only as good as your people. And so now I'm going to show you how I would hack Vertafore. Has everybody here heard of Vertafore? Well, I
a lot of our agencies use between, they're either on AMS 360, Applied, or Hawksoft, probably are our three biggest.
Right. So great. So I pick on Vertafore.
That's fine. They're big. They can take it.
So here's Vertafore, and I'm a hacker, and I'm like, oh, God, it would probably, if I could get into their systems and their email, and I could do some damage. So the first thing I need to know as a hacker is I need to know where their email is hosted. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Look here. It's hosted on Microsoft. Perfect. Now what I want to do is I want to do a search of the dark web.
Sorry, can we back up a second? You just have a way to look up where people's email is hosted?
Yeah. It's called MX Toolbox, but there's lots of utilities like this. But when you do that thing called DNS, domain name services,
sure,
information is there.
That's fascinating.
Now,
sorry.
Yeah, no worries, Ellie. Thank you. So anyway, so there's Vertafore's email. They're using Office 365. So the next thing I'm going to do for them as a hacker is I'm going to look on the dark web, and I'm going to see if their passwords exist on the dark web. And sure enough, they do. These are encrypted passwords here. But this one right here is not encrypted. Now, for purposes of what we're doing today, I'm not showing LSELEC's entire password, but I can assure you on the dark web it exists. How did it get there? It might have gotten there by being phished, by this person giving up their credentials, or they may have went to a website like, I don't know, ESPN.com, and put in their credentials.
Ticket fly. That's how mine got out there the first 6 times.
Okay, which site was that?
Ticket Fly, you know, where you buy the concert tickets
Yeah,
online.
right. So anyway, so the password got stolen there. So me as a hacker, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to Office 365 and I'm going to try to log in as lselec@vertafore.com with the credentials that I just found about a month ago.
That's unnecessarily easy. That's uncomfortably
Unnecessary.
easy.
So, but maybe those credentials don't work. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a phishing campaign. Now, what we do for our clients with the agency owners, we don't do it without telling the agency owner, without getting the agreement from the agency owner. But what we do are fake phishing emails. So I call them fake emails. So I'll just show you. I'll just show you one that we do. Hold on one second. Stop.
You can throw the Harvey agency. I think they're on this call.
Yeah, well, but
Throw them under the bus.
right, but the problem is that I
Sorry.
don't think that they gave up their credentials and my Bullfish is having problems. But
We get
basically,
the idea though. It's absurdly easy because even in the phishing scams, we tried. Look, we're a cybersecurity specialist, and I did a phishing test for my employees, and we failed abysmally.
yeah. So here, let's just see if I can get this going quickly. Sorry, because it's pretty cool. But basically, what we do is we get a bunch of send emails that we find on that are being used to phish clients or phish people. So this is an email that's going around on the internet, which you would probably say, oh no, I would never do this. So dear first name, someone in Bogota, Colombia attempted to log in. Was that you? If not, click here or click here. So regardless of which one they click, it takes them to a place on that the Microsoft Office 365 team is going to take a look at things. So now I'll show you what happened. Whoops. Sorry. So this was for Patrick McNeilis, and he's allowed me to tell them. So Chrissa was sent the email, but she knew, hey, I'm not opening that email. Louise got the email and opened it. Siobhan clicked on it. Leslie got phished.
And you really only need one, because if they can get access to your emails, they can have access to basically all of your data.
Exactly. And we've seen real world situations like this. We have a client in Chicago, large client, wouldn't allow us to do multi-factor authentication on their 82-year-old agency producer. He couldn't handle it. He got hacked. The hackers waited. And at the right time, they sent an invoice as him with a link to their bank account to wire $70,000. And the insurance company, and I don't believe it was you, but the insurance company denied the claim because they requested all the emails that have been sent back and forth with us, the IT provider, pleading with them to put multi-factor authentication on everybody's machines.
That's fascinating.
Yep. So back here. So like I said, security is only as good as your people. So Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So trust your people, test your people. Test your people by, we use a product called Bullfish. There's a product that Kevin Mitnick's company is called KnowBe4. All of these products have videos and trainings on how to see what emails are good and what emails are bad. Don't use your work email for non-work. websites. Don't use it for ESPN, Ellie. Don't use it for TickPick or whatever. Don't use it for those sites. And here's another bit of advice, and this gets controversial a little bit, but don't have your emails on your website. There are products that screen scrape websites to pull email addresses to robotically test them to see if they can be hacked.
That's fascinating. Okay.
All right. So here's a question. So where should your data be? The number one thing I would tell you is where it shouldn't be. Shouldn't be in your office. In your office, I've seen over my 35 years of doing this, I've seen computers get stolen. I've seen computers get water damage on them, and computers do not like water. And I've seen fires. So just from a disaster recovery sort of realm, you don't want your data in your office. We think Microsoft's cloud is the answer, and that's Office 365. There are other clouds out there.
Yeah. What's your thought on the Google Cloud? Like just
The-
using Google
yeah,
Drive?
so I use Google Cloud, right? And I love it.
Yeah. So do I.
But I'm not an insurance agent. And so the thing about most insurance agency management systems is they're going to integrate pretty tightly with
Microsoft.
the Office
Yeah.
suite. And then it becomes a really good deal having the Office 365 suite with hosted email. And
Yeah.
I'll also say that Microsoft Teams is becoming a sort of standard in the industry. You know, probably wouldn't have happened for 4 or 5 years, but we had this pandemic, and everything that was going to happen in the next 10 years happened in 3 months.
Right.
And so basically, Microsoft Teams is a huge issue. Now, people erroneously think, hey, my data's in the cloud, I don't need to back it up. Bull. Back it up, right? We've OneDrive, SharePoint, which are Microsoft's products, are not immune to ransomware. You can get ransomware there. Your data can be stolen there. Back it up and back it up to a cloud service. We use
Like Dropbox or Box. What do you recommend?
we recommend, well, we use Cloudberry, that has a very efficient method of doing a backup, and it's just like it backs up your email and it backs up your OneDrive and SharePoint information. With Dropbox, etc., all you're going to be able to do is back up your files there.
Right.
So I'm not like, look, if Microsoft suddenly loses everybody's data, we've got bigger problems than
Right. But
data.
still, you do have to have it in a secondary location. What does a secondary backup cost you?
Oh, maybe $2 to $5 per month.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's totally affordable.
Totally affordable. If you've got information in your office that you're backing up, say to a USB hard drive, or God forbid a tape drive, or even a data device or something like that, you should still back it up to the cloud, because fires happen, water damage happens, and ransomware happens. And a lot of people find with ransomware that their backups get wiped off. Their hard drive backups get wiped out. And use SharePoint in OneDrive. So SharePoint is the mechanism to secure your information so that Ellie can have her folder. There can be a folder that Ellie and some of her people share. There can be a folder that everybody gets to. That's what SharePoint does for you.
Fantastic.
So agency compliance is always a big issue. And I bring it up here because I put it in somewhat the same bucket as security. Because in order to be compliant, you need to be secure. You need to have, So I'm not going to sing the song New York, New York, but what I will say is a line from it, which is, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And what we tell our agencies, because they're in 25 states, and I don't know Iowa's cyber reg laws off the top of my head, is we say comply with New York cyber regs. If you comply with New York cyber regs, we're 99% sure that you're complying with your state's cyber regs. And a lot of states across the country are adopting New York cyber regs and putting them in the same language into their cyber regs. So that means
Virginia has come up to snuff. Obviously, we in California have a whole different set of situations, but I do know that Virginia and a number of other states are pulling the New York cyber
right.
regulations. So that's a good suggestion.
So you have to have proactive managed updates, security. You have to have an IT company, I believe, an outsourced IT company that's managing your security and managing those updates. We love a product called Zix for email encryption. We include it with our services. We like it because it's easy to use. It doesn't require a login at both ends, and it's very secure. We've seen a lot of adoption of Zix because they've been going to these agency management system shows for the past 15 years. So there's a lot of adoption. It works with all the products out there. We really like it. One of the things that I would also say to you is, you started by asking me, well, what else needs to have two-factor authentication on it? And if you've got a cloud-based phone system, it needs to have two-factor authentication on it, because these hackers know that your calls are recorded in the cloud, and they'll listen to your calls for information that they can use against you.
Brad, I never would have thought of that. That's a really, really good point.
I would also let you know that your agency management system needs to have multi-factor authentication, and most of the management systems do have MFA, and it should be free. Like I said, with Office 365, it's free. It just needs to be turned on. But we think it's really advantageous to integrate your VoIP system with your management system. A lot of these VoIP systems will allow you to record calls and place those calls in the customer record and the policy record. And they'll do click to call type things. Now, we don't sell voice over IP. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but they'll basically, it'll give you a click to call feature where wherever it finds a phone number, you can click on that and it'll ring the phone. And it'll also do caller ID with your management system. So if there is a caller ID, it'll look it up in your management system and it'll put up a pop-up. This is Brad Ruben calling. Click here to open up his record. And
wow, that's really interesting.
Yep. Thank you. Let's see. So, I would recommend, I don't believe break fix works. The model that a lot of agencies used to use, still use, a lot of IT people do, is basically, I'm going to call the IT company when something breaks. And with security and compliance, you just can't do that. You just can't wait until you're hacked to fix it. Because the hackers today, they're not just ransomwaring your data, but they're actually copying your data and threatening to put it on the dark web if you don't pay them the ransom. So even if you've got a great backup, if they get your data, they put it on the dark web, and you're going to have to tell your insureds that there's been a data breach. Our help is 24/7, but it's all about just making your computer systems run optimally all the time, so that you don't call us. So we do.
We've got a good question here that just came in, and that is, with so many people working from home and so many webinars and meetings like this, how secure is Zoom? whether it be the VoIP part of Zoom or the meeting part of Zoom, do we need to have two-factor authentication for Zoom?
I don't know that, it's a great question. I don't know the answer. I mean, when Zoom started with this pandemic, it was completely unsecure. There was Zoom
Completely.
bombs going on. It happened to me, right? Where I was on a call and somebody just joined it. But now it's password protected. So you can, when you do your Zoom call or you schedule a Zoom call, it requires that you have a password on it, at least on my system. It does.
Yeah,
It doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't require multi-factor authentication, but I will, I don't know who asked that question, but I'll get an answer to it. I'll email it to you.
fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So I'm just writing it down right now. All right. So we were about to talk about work from home and all that, and we include a product called LogMeIn Professional, but really you've got to have your system set up with the security stack of technology. You want to set up the DNS protection so you're working from home, and you really don't want to have to connect into your office to do your work. And if all your data is on the cloud, well, then you shouldn't need to connect into your office to do your work, right? You should be able to run your agency management system from home, run your rating systems from home, run your email, do Word, Excel, all those things from home. And you should be able to do them just like you're in the office, securely. I would suggest you don't have your kids using that computer if you could stop it. One other piece of advice here is to not have administrative credentials to your PC. So this is something that we set up with the majority of our clients. And what it basically means is you can't install any software on your computer. And you can only do it through another administrative account. And generally, when we do IT support, we have that administrative account so that we can log in, and a client will say, hey, I need this installed, and we'll just jump in and do it. It's a pain in the butt, but it's another way of
No,
securing
it's
your.
smart, especially with spouses and online shopping during the holidays. Trying to avoid those things while you're also working would be a great help to your employer.
Yes, yes. I wish there were like 5 times authentication with Amazon, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't buy so much stuff on Amazon.
I can't blame other people when I get the bill, though.
So, yeah, so we like to talk to our agents about sales technology. Let's not fool ourselves. Number one, an insurance agency's job should be to sell more insurance and service their clients, right? But if they don't produce, they're not going to succeed. And most of these agency management systems really do nothing to automate the sales function. And we like to talk about products like Insured Mind, Agency Zoom. These are products, Blue Butler. These are products that have really helped our agencies not only improve their sales activity, but also improve their automation. Just their quickness of doing things. I like to always talk about, Oprah has her favorite things. I'll talk about a few of my favorite things, and since I'm a technology geek, there you go. So I'm using an app called Crisp.ai right now. And what you probably did not hear, I hope you didn't hear, was the people, I live in a condominium, and the people above us have been doing construction. So what Crisp.ai does is it replaces, or it adds another microphone that you select in Windows, so that it listens to your voice and it filters out everything else. So it's a great product. We have people, we're a completely distributed workforce, Ellie. and we have people that live on farms.
Yeah,
Doesn't inspire confidence in your IT vendor when they hear a chicken going, you know.
that's fair. Does it work on Macs or just on PCs?
I believe it works on Macs as well.
Fantastic. We're running out of time, Brad. I wanna make sure you get in all the quick hits that you need to. And if anybody has any questions, type them in now. We'll try to get a couple in before we finish up in the next 4 to 5 minutes.
Yesware is a great product for knowing if somebody opened your email and telling you. Sanebox/Chatter, Chatter's in Office 365 is a great place app to set up so the email that's between spam and real inbox email. Visual Visitor is a product that we use that tells us the companies that are visiting our website without them doing anything. And Time Trade is a great product for setting up appointments. So automating those appointments. And there's a lot of different products out there like that. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me after this, brad@myarchway.com, www.myarchway.com. That's my direct phone number. It goes directly to me. It doesn't pass go. 805-469-4510. And I can guarantee you we're completely independent. We don't sell any hardware, software, internet, VoIP. We don't sell insurance. And we'll give you our complete independent advice.
Fantastic. This has been incredibly knowledgeable. I have now a bullet point list I'm going to go back to my internal IT team with after this. And I hope that everybody who was on the call got as much from it as I did. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you'd like a copy of the slides, you can shoot me an email or I'll try to send them to everybody tomorrow. But I want to say thank you to Brad. This has been incredibly, incredibly helpful.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellie, for inviting me, and stay safe out there.
Thank you. You too. We'll bring you back on again to make sure we're doing everything right in a couple of months.
Well, there'll be changes by then. So
Oh, there always are. There always are. Thank you
right.
very much, and have a happy holiday, everybody.
Thank you.